And I was like, it pains me a bit that I'm igniting these passion in the kids that probably Filipinos are going to compete in the next few years. And it's a different, I love giving it to kids, this is something that is very joyful for me to do. But I would want it even more in my home country. I would want it here, sa Pilipinas. And I was talking to a lot of people. I was like, we need to showcase this event outside of the track. Bring it to the crowd, bring it to the mall, and hopefully with the all sports governing body of the Philippines, like PSC, PATAFA, and POC, will be able to make that happen.
According to Obiena, this might possibly be his last visit to the country as he prepares for the 2024 Paris Olympics. Next year will be crucial for him in terms of qualifications.
Every competition I want to win gold, and that really is my simple approach, and I think that's the most straightforward approach in every competition. I want to win, and to be honest, it's addicting to win, and I think it's a good thing that I feel this way. And there comes a time, hopefully not soon, that I would not. But yeah, that's what I want to achieve in Paris: win and get the gold. I know it's going to be tough and it's going to be a challenge, but I'm welcoming that challenge.
Obiena also claimed victory against the world #1 in men's pole vault, Mondo Duplantis. In the meantime, Obiena will enjoy his downtime with family before going back to Europe in October.
Shifting gears now to the PBA, Phoenix will be getting reinforcement from a newcomer in the league. Caleb Wesson is set to suit up for the Fuel Masters as they aim to soar higher in the Commissioner's Cup. Welcome to the game, Caleb.
How are you guys doing?
Great, Caleb. Again, really happy that you're here. First of all, I want to talk a bit about you because you're one of the younger imports that are coming over here to the Philippines. Just a bit of your thought process, I guess, about you deciding to come to the Philippines and try out Asian basketball.
Oh, really excited about it, actually. Being one of the only imports on my team, that means, you obviously have to accept sort of a leadership role. That's something that I've done my whole basketball career. Even at Ohio State, I was one of the younger players on the team throughout my career in college. But, I had to step up and be one of those, leadership roles as far as on the court and off the court.
Right, Caleb. It's your first time playing in the PBA, and I'm pretty sure you've seen highlights or done your research coming into the country. What did you see about how the Philippine basketball is played in general?
Oh, it's a lot of up and down. That's one of the biggest things that I really noticed was the fast-paced game, the possessions, and how everybody is, sort of transitioning to that, run and gun type of game.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're excited to see you run and gun, especially with the style of play that I believe Phoenix is trying to implement here. I want to talk a bit about your background, though. I'm going to guess, all right? You can correct me if I'm wrong, that you're a pretty disciplined guy because I'm taking a look at my notes here. You lost 40 pounds in college? I'm not quite sure if that's true because that takes commitment.
Oh, it was a lot more than that. My heaviest, I was 325 in college, actually. I got down to 245. And, that was a big goal for me in my, transition into being a high-level basketball player. In high school, I was, playing basketball and football. So, making sure that I could play at the highest level that I can, I had to slim down a little bit. That required me to, discipline my eating habits and also my training.
Well, being a young guy, again at 23, and then taking that decision to go pro and then going overseas after a stint in the G League, how has international basketball treated you so far?
Oh, great. Being able to indulge myself in different cultures and, meet new people. I feel like I'm a very personable person. I like to take pride in my ability to create relationships with people. And, just going overseas and meeting different people from all walks of life is something that I've enjoyed.
Right, Caleb, you've also had experience playing in the G League back in the States. Of course, you've played with guys like Jordan Poole. How was that experience like playing for the Santa Cruz Warriors?
Oh, it was great. I was welcomed as soon as I got there. And guys like Jordan Poole and Nico Mannion, guys who, got drafted and are in the NBA currently, or, playing the highest level of basketball, just learning things and picking things from their games that I can implement, their work ethics and things like that got them there is something that I really tried to, grab from them.
You know, you talk about building relationships just a while ago. I'm just curious, who have you vibed with the most in your team? And of course, talk about the relationships you're trying to build here.
Oh, my guy, JV. That's my man. That's my guy. You know, he shows me the ropes, tells me everything about the city. Let me try below the egg.
Of
that
course
was one
you
of the biggest
did.
things he had me try. And I enjoyed it, actually.
Well, Caleb, of course, you come in. I'm sure you've seen the rest of the imports that are coming in as well. A few of them NBA vets, a few of them from Europe. So really different backgrounds. How excited are you to match up with them in particular? And is there any particular NBA vet that you probably looked up to before that you're going to be playing against now?
I would say the guy that I, watched probably the most growing up was Thomas Robinson. When he played against Jared Sullinger, that's kind of like my mentor. He showed me a lot of the ropes at Ohio State, and also just being a Columbus guy, watching him grow up and seeing him play Thomas Robinson in the Final Four, that's a familiar name and familiar face for me.
Well, Caleb, you know what? We're going to be really excited to see you finally hit the court and show us what you got for Phoenix. Really excited for that. And stay healthy and enjoy your time here. We'll see you at the games.
Good luck, Caleb.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Really excited. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, so after the break, we've got more PBA as we go through the big trades that went down in the league as we get set for a brand new conference. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back to The Game. We are one day away from the start of the PBA Commissioner's Cup, and big player moves have shaken the entire league. Joining us tonight to discuss the most recent blockbuster trades is PBA Rush anchor Mikey Reyes. Mr. Shoot First, welcome back to The Game. And we're going to be talking about a lot of trades. Marami tayong balita in the past few days, Pao.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the first one.
Yeah, so much to talk about in terms of the movements happening around the PBA, Mikey. So let's talk about what we're going to see on the court. So, simulan muna natin dito sa Ginebra and the Northport Raiders, as well as San Miguel. So, Ginebra, just to remind everyone what happened, now have Jamie Malonzo and Von Pesumal in their squad in exchange for 4 players, 3 of them arguably rotational guys, and of course, Ken Salado coming in as well. Unang-una, isn't this a big move for Ginebra, considering that's a big part of their rotation?
Well, there are pros and cons. Obviously, the pro is you get a superstar in Jamie Malonzo and also a very reliable shooter in Von Pesumal in whom we've always said it time and time again, we want to see Von really flourish in a system or in a team na talaga ma-maximize siya. But then again, the con there, I'm sure your dad knows this, is you're gonna put in a big piece and you're gonna have to change things. It's not gonna be the same, and then will come Jeremiah Gray as well. So what we were super used to from their last championship, definitely ibang-iba itong team ng Ginebra come this season. And you know, it will require adjustments. I believe they were there in their tune-up game today, but they didn't play. So they will try, a little bit of time to get used to the new team that is Ginebra.
Yeah. So that's something that yet to be seen for the Barangay Ginebra Gin Kings. But lipat tayo sa Northport muna. How do you think Arvin Tolentino and Prince Caperal will gel alongside si Jeff Chan and Ken Salado here?
Well, obviously, you get 4 pieces whom right away can contribute. That is the bright side of all this for Northport. Yes, you lose a Jamie Malonzo, but you get a big man in which you've been searching for this whole conference. You had to play JM Calma at the 5. I covered JM Calma in college. He was never a 5, so he had to play 5. Even Arwin Santos, who is obviously in the latter portion of his career, had to play 5. You get a Prince Caperal who can also help the import out, who can also shoot from the outside. And then you get a vet in Jeff Chan. You get a point guard in Ken Salado who is raring to go and raring to compete in the PBA. And of course, Arvin Tolentino, we all know what he can do. A big shooter for someone like Robert Bolick will pay dividends and create a different vibe for Northport.
We all know na napaka-rare yung mga big man sa PBA who can actually contribute. And Prince Caperal is one of those stretcher bigs that would help fill in that gap. Sabi mo nga, people forget that Northport was a very small team last year kasi wala silang sentro. No Troy Reich, no Greg Slaughter, so really a lot to fill in there.
Yep. Lipat tayo sa susunod na trade. Of course, we're gonna talk about the TNT and Blackwater trade. Kasama dyan yung NLEX, of course. Calvin Oftana to the TNT Tropang Giga. What do you think about that, Mike?
Well, you add a Calvin Oftana with a Roger Pogoy, with a Jason Castro, Mikey Williams, Poy Eram. It's going to be an exciting 5, at least for the All-Filipino Cup. But then they will have Thomas Robinson, obviously. And it's going to be exciting as well because Coach Chot's system, I feel like would also favor Calvin Oftana. He played well under Coach Yeng, gave him all the confidence that he needed to, break out in his second season. But to be under Coach Chot's guidance and of course the whole TNT coaching staff and the vets of TNT will pay a lot of will give Calvin Oftana's career a big boost in the PBA.
Speaking about careers needing a boost here, Gab Banal, he has the potential to explode here for Blackwater, considering that at one point he was actually the leading three-point shooter in the PBA. And then of course, Troy Rosario, a lot of people remembered his relatively forgettable finals by his high standards, but then the personal problems that he was going through with his son being in the hospital, I have a feeling did play a part on that. How big is this move for them personally to regain yung stock nila dito?
Well, for Troy, it's funny because he played one forgettable series. That was it. We tend to forget who Troy Rosario is. Once a champion in the UAAP, was a mainstay in the Gilas team, a national team. And what Coach Sergio Celdesi was saying, they've been wanting Troy Rosario for so long. And there's a reason as to why they wanted Troy Rosario. As for Gab Banal, I played with him in different leagues. We've seen him on the PBA floor. Even with TNT, when he had to play during the Gilas time na nandun si Pogoy, he was contributing. So, we're also excited for Blackwater in this trade.
And of course, BGR with NLEX, first round pick, didn't really get to, first overall pick, he didn't really get to shine as much for Blackwater considering sa simula, injured siya. And he still has a lot of the, really great explosive tools. What does he bring NLEX?
Well, for NLEX, it's funny because the only thing that they were missing was a legitimate 4 guy. I know JR Kenyahan was there, but still, latter portion of his career. So, and I'm also excited for that Kevin Alas BGR tandem. And can I already say that it'll be exciting to see how Coach Frankie Lim will coach BGR?
May pasabog, may pasabog.
Well, so we're going to talk about that in the coming days for sure. Pero unang
You heard it first here. You heard it
Oo
first
nga eh,
here.
oo nga eh.
But you read it
Oh,
somewhere.
you read it somewhere. Oh, pero you heard it from that guy. On that note, the opening day of the PBA Commissioner's Cup is happening tomorrow at the Mall of Asia Arena. The Bay Area Dragons will face off against the Blackwater Bossing, while the new-look Northport Batang Pier goes up against the Phoenix Fuelmasters. Catch both games on One Sports and on PBA Rush. After the break, tingnan natin kung may pasabog. We'll find out Mikey's top 3 NBA player performances in the Eurobasket Championship. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. This year's Eurobasket featured an array of NBA stars representing their home countries. Still with us to talk about the basketball across the border is analyst Mikey Reyes, who had the pleasure of calling some of these games. At yung pag-usapan natin dito might surprise you. Yan yung clickbait title natin ngayon. Kasi wala yung mga
Oo, eh.
ano to big names eh. Walang Giannis.
Wala si
walang
Luka.
Alam mo
walang
kasi,
Rudy
guys,
Gobert. Oo.
The way I analyze is the same as the way I play. Pag may open shot na, wag muna. Doon tayo sa mas mahirap. Pahirapan natin ang buhay natin.
Unpredictable lang din.
Unpredictable kasi obviously Luka, Jokic,
Yeah.
Greek Freaks, obvious na yung mga yun. So let's talk about the other guys.
Alright, so the other guy, so simulan muna natin dito. The other guy is yung MVP ng Eurobasket. Oo, a hard choice. Si Willie Hernan Gomez. So, a lot of people might be surprised. Oh, si Willie Hernan Gomez yung naging MVP. What was so special with him?
Well, he played, the whole Eurobasket. He was just solid. His brother, obviously, si Bo Cruz.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cruz Missile.
Cruz Missile.
Oo.
Diba? Of course, Hernan Gomez's brother, si Juancho, he had a great finals.
Yes.
Yeah, 27 points. He was obviously the man who led them to a chip. But Willie Hernan Gomez, the whole series was just great. And also against Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
He had his way. He had his way against the Defensive Player of the Year, many-time Defensive Player of the Year of the NBA. So Willie Hernan Gomez, I believe he will bring this to the NBA, this kind of confidence. And also I was reading about how this was just a dream for them to win the Eurobasket together. Fourth, by the way, for Spain.
And umiyak si Bo Cruz when Willie Hernan Gomez was accepting his MVP award. And of course, best of luck to him. And of course, there's the New Orleans Pelicans. But who do we have next?
Lipat tayo sa Guardia naman, a guy that turned down a big offer last season. Pero dahil sa performance niya here in the Eurobasket, looks like his value has just upped some more. Dennis Schroeder
Kakasign lang
from,
din niya eh.
from Germany.
It's funny because maybe a few days ago, he wouldn't even be credible or he wouldn't even pass the criteria for this segment because again, a few days ago, he signed with the Lakers and he's just really solid.
Yeah.
He's such a solid contributor in the point guard position. I remember I covered a game wherein he was struggling the whole first three quarters.
Yeah.
And in the fourth, he just woke up and led Germany to a win, to a big win against Nikola Jokic, by the way.
Yeah.
So looking at Dennis Schroeder, in the NBA, he's gonna be a solid again contributor. I don't know how they're gonna run that three-point guard system, but for Dennis Schroeder, I know he's gonna be ready whether he starts or he comes off the bench.
They might have to trade someone. I don't know who they want to trade. We'll find out. Pero ito, moving on, a guy from the Houston Rockets, someone that is not necessarily well-known outside of the hardcore NBA circuit, and of course, the fans of the Houston Rockets, itong si Alperen Sengun. What did you like about him?
I covered him. I covered a couple of games for Turkey, and I just saw how really he establishes himself in the paint. He's not scared of anybody. If anybody remembers, he was the guy who was quote-unquote bullying LeBron James at one point in that game against the Lakers. So with Alperen Sengun, the best thing about these kinds of games is because mentally, physically, they will be ready once training camp starts. I believe they have an edge. Luka, Jokic, and of course Antetokounmpo brothers, they have an edge coming into training camp because they're already in shape, they're already in game shape. So for someone like Sengun, who is obviously young and trying to make a name for himself in the NBA, this will be big for his confidence and his rhythm.
May pang hot takes
Oo,
si
eh.
David para
May
sa'yo.
pa-bonus
Nadali
question
na
tayo.
naman ako
Kasi
dito, ah.
may pasabog kanina Frankie Lim. Ito, bonus ulit, hot take. Among these three players that you mentioned, who do you think deserves to be the most, yung pinakamataas na salary pagdating sa
Wow.
NBA? Among the three that you chose.
Obviously, Schroeder said no to a big salary. So I think it's Hernan Gomez. I think Hernan Gomez is really someone that already New Orleans is looking at to really play big this coming season.
You know, that take is actually reasonable eh. Kasi the hottest take we've ever had on the show was something with Jello Vito and Michael Bridges. And that is not at that same level. Pero you look at these guys, Willie Hernan Gomez and Schroeder and Sengun, and as well as some of the other guys who played here in Eurobasket. Sa palagay mo ba yung value nila, yung stock nila has risen because of the tournament? Because we're seeing these guys. We don't normally talk about these three guys, and now the expectations of at least we saw what they can do, and we're gonna expect a bit more of them coming the NBA season.
Oh, for sure. This was the world stage. Don't tell me that Dennis Schroeder would have signed that if it wasn't for the Eurobasket. Even us, parang, we just realized, watching him dominate at some points of those games, we just realized, no, hindi pa nga signed talaga to see Dennis Schroeder. So I believe that this kind of league, this kind of exposure really pays dividends for someone's career.
Yeah, and let's see also who from this particular tournament will shine. Like my Jazz, he signed the best Italian shooter, si Fontecchio. But anyway, Mikey, maraming salamat. Siningit ko lang yun. Sorry guys. Mikey, maraming salamat. I really appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Mikes. And thank you for joining us. I'm Dip Dipianco.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paolo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.